Hi, it's Alyssa. Tachlis from Tel Aviv, or Tachlis Tel Aviv, as you prefer. It's been a while, and I'm sorry, but life happens. Life happens a lot here in Israel. Today, May 5th, 2016, in Israel, is Yom H'shoah Day. This is our Holocaust Remembrance Day. At 10 o'clock this morning, there was a 2-minute siren, and we all stood together in silence, in honor, in memory. I can only describe them as screaming. Every second of every moment of that siren is just screaming memories. So it's a day where things can come up where they wouldn't usually. And what happened to me today was really interesting. I went to the sea to breathe. And I go from place to place, and at one point I went to go somewhere, and someone who's not very nice to me came out of nowhere. Sort of like he saw me, so he wanted to sort of show me his power. And to sort of say, this isn't your area, so go away. I think he's nuts. And it brought up this feeling and this idea, and I wanted to say something like, fucking Nazi. I called this guy a Nazi. How could I have done that? I mean, he's bad. And there's a lot of bad people that I've met in my journey. But to call anyone a Nazi ever, I don't think that you ever want to meet a Nazi. I don't think that anybody that endured the Holocaust, any survivor, or anyone that was completely tortured and murdered at the hands of the Germans, would ever call somebody a Nazi. You see, that's crazy, and it's ignorant. And I taught myself this giant lesson today because it's unfathomable. It's probably 100 times worse, that feeling. Can you imagine? I heard a story today of the people got off a train. They were shoulder to shoulder, mother, children. I heard stories that there were soldiers here and dogs. And these were soldiers in these horrific Nazi uniforms. Can you imagine that? And then they just hit them. They hit me, they hit you because you're a Jew. It's crazy. So how can you ever compare unless someone is beating the hell out of you? Somebody is trying to murder you at every single second. Could you even possibly fathom calling someone a Nazi? So when I hear the stupidity going on in the elections in the United States and whatever and whomever, to call anybody a Nazi, unless they're absolutely sitting there with a gun to your head or torturing you, could you even come close to what those monsters did to 6 million? I have been hearing stories. I heard a story today, and that they would just take the baby out of a mom's arms. I have 3 best friends with newborn babies. I can't imagine. And they would take the baby and just throw it against the wall. How did these things happen? I mean, even, and to let's take it to another level. We're always talking about being the reason is religion for war. No, not in this circumstance. Okay, so he wanted to have the Aryan race, but that wasn't religion. This was just sort of like sick dictator control. And people followed this crazy, like, murderous, like, just extermination. There's all these problems on the universities in America lately. And you hear all the time, like, terminology in regards to Israel and Nazism and Hitler, and it's crazy. Right now outside my door are 6 Arab workers. I'm living in the middle of Tel Aviv. I don't know who they are. They're not guys that I know, Arabs that I know that are in the cafe. No, these guys are being brought here. They're going through the checkpoints. Not the easiest thing in the world, but to compare, to put Bibi's head in Hitler's body, any of these things, it's so insane and ignorant. So could go on forever, because in Israel, this is the base of the Holocaust. Like, you really feel the education. This is where I got my education. I can't tell you I fully understood it, in any American school or any American Hebrew school. But you're here and you feel it every day. You really do. But today, with the siren and the television broadcasts only stories and sad and good stories sometimes, when there were miracles and people found each other's and families got together, and you realized that your whole family wasn't murdered. And the songs on the radio are sad. And there's this heaviness, there's a feeling it's hard. It's a hard day. And then your association, like, okay, I'm a Jew, it could have been any of us, and it doesn't affect your family specifically, but it's this thing. I'm a Jew, so I'm associated with the Holocaust. It's our history, I guess, so it becomes part of us, every one of us, no matter what. If it says Jew, no matter where you come from, Holocaust is your history, and that's okay. It's okay to support those that endured what they did in order for us to live freely as Jews, to have a Jewish country. But let this be a reminder, never use that terminology of Nazi to describe somebody. It's not torturing you, or shooting you, or murdering you, or killing your parent in front of you, or killing your child in front of you, or asking for you to punish others because you went out of line, and so it's you now. You're not going to be murdered, but we're going to torture you. We are going to ask you to murder others. It's just so horrible. It's unfathomable. But in a weird way, something's happening lately in this world. And there's a lot of hate. Never again, never forget. Be the change.